Hello children, today we will study lesson number 9 of your English 1, that is verbs, present and past tense. So we have already studied that what is verb. We know that doing words are called verbs, or the words that show action are called verbs. And today we will see that verbs not only tells us about action, but it also tells us about the time of action. Okay, it tells whether the action has happened now or the action has already taken place in the past. Okay, so here I have written two examples, so we will try to understand with the help of these examples about present tense and past tense. Okay, see here, we plays cricket. We played cricket yesterday. Now here in these two sentences we see that there are two forms of verb. What are these? Plays and played, right? So here we see that there are two forms of the same verb. One is plays and the other is played. Okay, so these two forms of verb shows two different time of action. Okay, these two different forms of verb shows two different time of action. And I have already told you that time tells us about the tense, or we can say that tense tells us about the time. Okay, so we can say that the verb changes depending upon the time you are referring to. Okay, so we can say that here plays, it is taking place in the present tense, and played, this is taking place in the past tense. Okay, so we have already studied that tenses are basically of three types: present tense, past tense and future tense. Present tense means the action that are happening now, that are taking place now. Past tense means the action that are already, means they've already taken place, already happened. And future tense means the action which will be taking place in the future, that has not yet happened. Okay, so in this chapter we will study about present tense and past tense. Okay, so children, to show that the verb is in present tense, how do we know? In that case, we either use the verb as it is, means there is no change at all depending upon the sentence, or we can add s or es to it. Okay, let's see with an example. I've taken this example: I sleep. Okay, with I we don't put s, so sleep is the word, I sleep. Now she, when we use she, he, it, we add s to the verb. Okay, she sleeps. Okay, so here we see that with I we have used the word as it is, there is no change in the verb. With she we have added s to the verb. Now sleep becomes sleeps. So these both are in the present tense. Now if the word ends in y, then what do? We just drop the y, means we remove the y, and in place of y we add ies to it. Okay, let's see how. I try. Okay, try is the verb, it is as it is, there is no change, it is in present tense. Now if we have to use it with she, then she, he, it, whatever, then we drop y and we add ies to it. Now it becomes she tries. Okay, so this tries is also in the present tense. So to show that the verb is in the present tense, we either use the verb as it is, or we add s or es to it depending upon the words or the sentence we are talking about. Now what about past tense? In past tense we usually add ed to the last letter of the word. See how? Help. Okay, I help her. Now if we have to make it in past tense, I helped her, means ed will be added to the basic form of the verb. So help becomes helped by adding ed. Okay, now see, I played yesterday. So play, we add just ed to the verb and it becomes the past tense. And As we saw it in present tense that we drop y and we add ies. Similarly here also, when the word ends with y, we just drop y and we add ied to it. Like cry becomes cried. Okay? I cry, I cried yesterday. Or similarly, if you take the word try, then try becomes what? Tried. T-R-I-E-D. Tried. Okay? So the words that ends with y, we drop y and we add ied to the word. Sometimes when we add ed, the last letter of the verb becomes doubled. Okay? Like example, clap. I clap. I clapped. Now see here we have added ed and this word has this letter P is in the double form, C-L-A-P-P-E-D, clapped. Okay, so sometimes it happens that when we add ed, the last letter of the word doubles. Okay, if I take another example like shop, S-H-O-P, shop, then it becomes S-H-O-P-P-E-D. I shopped yesterday. Okay, so it also becomes, the last letter just doubles. Okay, so children, I hope it is clear to you that in present tense we use the verb as it is, or we add s or es, and in the past tense we add ed or ied. So let's see today's exercise. So let's see the exercise of this chapter. Children, open page number 33. We will see, open page number 32. Okay, we will see the first A exercise. Add ed to the following verbs to form their past tense. Now here simply you have to add ed and make the verbs in past tense. So first is help. So you'll make it helped. H-E-L-P-E-D. Helped. Second, hunt. You add ed and it becomes hunted. H-U-N-T-E-D. Hunted. So I'll just read out once and I'm sure that you can do it by your own. So fear becomes feared. Walk, walked. Mix, mixed. Turn, turned. Jump, jumped. Pick, picked. Chew, chewed. Guess, guessed. Fill, filled. Pull, pulled. Talk, talked. Fix, fixed. And test becomes tested. Okay. Now we come to page number 33. B part. Rewrite the sentences changing the tense of the underlined verbs from the present to the past by adding ed. Now you have to rewrite. I have already told you that rewrite means you have to write it in the full sentence form. Like first one, Bunty always bats first. So how you will write? Okay, let me write. So the first sentence is Bunty always bats fast. So bats will become batted. Okay. So see here also the last letter T becomes double. So Bunty always batted first. So you will write the first one as Bunty always batted first. Okay, so this is the verb that has become now in the past tense. So likewise you will write all the sentences in the rewrite form. Sonia grips her bag firmly. Sonia gripped her bag firmly. G-R-I-P-P-E-D. Okay, grip will become G-R-I-P-P-E-D. Gripped. The dress fits Neeti perfectly. The dress fitted. F-I-T-T-E-D. Fitted Neeti perfectly. Every winter, Mrs. Miller knits jumpers for Harry and Ron. So, every winter, Mrs. Miller knitted. K-N-I-T-T-E-D. Okay, I see here. K-N-I-T-T-E-D. knitted. Knitted jumpers for Harry and Ron. The crowd clapped their hands at the end of the show. The crowd clapped. I have already told you, C-L-A-P-P-E-D. Clapped their hands at the end of the show. The tap drips all night. The tap dripped. D-R-I-P-P-E-D. Dripped all night. My sister pins her hair up before going out. My sister pinned. P-I-N-N-E-D. Pinned her hair up before going out. Mrs. Sinha fans herself with a pretty lace fan. Mrs. Sinha fanned. F-A-N-N-E-D. Fanned herself with a pretty lace fan. Now turn your page. Fifi Frog hops into the pond at the end of the field. Fifi Frog hopped. Hop means jump. H-O-P-P-E-D. Hopped into the pond at the end of the field. The naughty elf grins as he drops pots and pans on the floor. The naughty elf grinned. G-R-I-N-N-E-D. Grin means laughing, showing teeth. Grinned as he dropped. D-R-O-P-P-E-D. Dropped pots and pans on the floor. Now C1. Add D to the following verbs to form their past tense. Okay. So one is done. Hope becomes hoped. See here what we see, children. The words are already ending in E. Right? See, all the words are ending in E. So we don't need to add ED to it. We simply add D to it. Okay? Here that formula will not run that you have to add ED because they're already ending in E. So you just have to add a D to the single letter D to the word. Describe becomes described. Let me write. D-E-S-C-R-I-B-E-D. See, describe is already till here and we simply add D to it. Okay. The next one is close. See, it is already ending with E. C-L-O-S-E. So what do we write? We'll simply add D to it. Closed. Similarly, tie becomes tied. T-I-E-D. Tied. Live becomes lived. L-I-V-E-D. Lived. Smile, smiled. S-M-I-L-E-D. Smiled. Believe, believed. B-E-L-I-E-V-E-D. Believed. Like, liked. L-I-K-E-D. Liked. Save, saved. S-A-V-E-D. Saved. Dance, danced. D-A-N-C-E-D. Danced. Grace, graced. G-R-A-Z-E-D. Graced. Use, used. U-S-E-D. Used. Okay, so this way we'll make past tense of these words by simply adding D to the last letter. Now, change the tense of the following verbs from the present to the past by dropping the final S and adding D or ED. One has been done. See here, present tense it is given, and what we have to do, we will remove the S or ES, whatever is given in the word, and we'll simply add D. If the word is ending with E, we add D, and otherwise we add ED to make it past tense. Lies become light. Talks, talked. See, talks is in present tense. So what we will do, we will remove S and we will add ED. T-A-L-K-S. Talks. So what we will do, just remove this S. T-A-L-K-E-D. Now you add ED to the word and it becomes past tense. Okay. So we remove S and we add ED to the word to make it past tense. Next is moves become moved. M-O-V-E-D. Moved. Flows, flowed. F-L-O-W-E-D. Flowed. Dares, dared. D-A-R-E-D. Dared. Dives, dived. D-I-V-E-D. Dived. Joins, joined. J-O-I-N-E-D. Joined. chases. Now you see here, C-H-A-S-E-S. Chases is there. C-H-A-S-E-S. Now what do we do here? We will remove this S, and now the word ends. If we remove the S, the word ends with E. So what do? We simply add D to it. We don't need to add ED, only simply add D. So it becomes C-H-A-S-E-D. Okay, we have only added D, and it becomes chased. Next is cares. Here also same thing, C-A-R-E-S. Now here we will remove this S, and the word is ending with E. So we simply add D to it, and it becomes a past tense. C-A-R-E-D. Okay? Rose become rode, R-O-W-E-D, rode. Tastes become tasted, T-A-S-T-E-D, tasted. Stays become stayed, S-T-A-Y-E-D, stayed. Okay? Now next one. Change the tense of the underlined verbs from the present to the past by dropping the final S and adding D or ED. One has been done for you. So first is what you have to do. You have to the sentences are given in present tense, and you have to just change the verb into past tense. Tony walks from school. So walks is the verb. It is in present tense. So you change to past tense. You remove S and you add ED, as we have already done. Walked. Mrs. Singh bakes cakes for the tea. So what you will do? Bakes will become baked. See here. B-A-K-E-S. Bakes. So it is ending with S. We remove S and we add D to it. B-A-K-E-D. It becomes baked. Next is likes. Likes become liked. Karan never misses his music lessons. So misses becomes missed. Okay, let's see. M-I-S-S-E-S. Misses. So we'll just remove S and we will write missed. Okay, when we remove S, it is ending with E, and when it ends with E, we simply add D to it. Missed. The artist paints beautiful picture. The artist painted. P-A-I-N-T-E-D. P-A-I-N-T-E-D. Painted. Polly pours out tea from the blue teapot. Polly poured. P-O-U-R-E-D. Poured. Okay. P-O-U-R-E-D. Poured. In the story, the prince marries Cinderella. In the story, the princess married, and the prince married. M-A-R-R-I-E-D. M-A-R-R-I-E-D. Married. Because we remove S, then the word is ending with E, so we simply add D to it. The teacher asked them to spell some new words. Asked become asked. A-S-K-E-D. Asked. The baby cries aloud. Cries becomes cried. C-R-I-E-D. Cried. The cook fries eggs for them every morning. Fries becomes fried. F-R-I-E-D. Fried. The lion roars in its den. Roared. R-O-A-R-E-D. Roared. She combs her hair every morning and night. Combs become combed. C-O-M-B-E-D. Combed. The dog guards its bone. Guarded. G-U-A-R-D-E-D. Guarded. Mimi cares for the plants in the garden. Cares become cared. C-A-R-E-D. Cared. And the last one, Robin shares his sweets with his friends. Shares becomes shared. S-H-A-R-E-D. Shared. So we have seen that how we can change the present into past and past into present. So children, I want you all to complete all the exercise which is given in this chapter. Thank you.